Welcome to Enlightened Abroad, the podcast, with Drik Strad.
Hello, welcome to episode number 14. This is me speaking into my H5 microphone from my bathroom. And there's been a week delay in uploads because I was in India living up the Enlightened Abroad life. India was amazing, and I wish I had my microphone out there because I met some amazing people. So this episode is going to feature a good friend from around the way here in the Middle East. His name is Ali, and Ali drops F-bombs and swear words like it's his job. So just be forewarned, kids and people with children. This is going to be an X-rated version of the Enlightened Abroad podcast. But it's real and it's awesome, and Ali gives us some great tips from the millennial point of view. He's in his mid-20s, and he is a really smart guy who's from Pakistan. One of the coolest things about this episode is he talks about Pakistan as a travel destination, which was never on my list, but now it is. It sounds amazing and safe and wonderful and lots of good food. So I encourage you to check it out and just enjoy this free-flowing conversation with a really good friend who's been an expat now for about 3-4 years and has no desire to turn back. He loves the travel, he loves the lifestyle, and he's taking full advantage of it. I'm going to leave all political commentary aside right now because I just get too angry. But seriously, guys, we have one man in charge of all our trade and military decisions. Are you sure we want to do this? It's fucking insane. So please enjoy this episode with Ali.
And now, please enjoy the show.
So, Ali.
How's it going, man? Yes, Mr. Drik. I love it.
Welcome to Enlightened Abroad. Tell us about Mr. Drik.
Mr. Drik.
What is that about?
Mr. Drik is one of your many, many personalities / aliases. Started somewhat like this time last year, I think. World Cup time. And you being the official officiator and match watcher of all the games, you decided to go down to our local pub haunt, the Muse. That's a little shout out to Marina Muse there. You can often catch Mr. Drik there, 2 p.m. onwards. And they just got a whole bunch of stuff, and we went a couple of times there, but not as often as you did. And the bar staff were like, "Oh, you know Mr. Drik, he is so lovely." And we're like, "Who the fuck is Mr. Drik?" You know what I mean? They're like, "Mr. Drik, you're always hanging out with him. He comes, watches all the games. He comes, watches the first knockout game against teams that no one's even heard of, and he's late at night." And they're like, "Oh, Mr. Drik." And then we just realized, like, you were there so often that it just became a running gag that, you know, you were just like the manager and official bar staff member. So that's where Mr. Drik, one of your many, many aliases, came about.
Yeah. I did have some bartender experience, bar manager experience in my life.
To be fair, you did help them out in their manic days. So it went both ways.
I don't know if I helped them out. I think I just wanted my beers faster. So I was like, "Guys, here's how you run it, okay? Give me my beers first, then you worry about everybody else." They're like, "Okay, Mr. Drik." But yeah, they couldn't say my name. I knew you'd be good, a good comedic. You're a closet comedian. The reason I wanted to have you on the show is for a couple of reasons, but we've taken 2 trips together.
We have indeed.
You've seen other personalities of me. But it's not about me. So the first trip, actually, we bonded
in Jordan.
Jordan was awesome.
That was a quick, intense weekend getaway. And what was it? Like a couple of hours flight here, landed in the middle of the night. These 2 taxi drivers picked us up. Being the only 2 guys, we decided in the group, we decided to like go on different taxi rides for that particular journey, which was from the airport to the middle of nowhere. We got to the hotel and we were pretty tired. It was pretty cold, you know what I mean? We didn't have any idea of the temperature and whatnot, so we all went to bed. and we had the early morning. And then,
you guys went to bed.
Well, we all thought we had gone to bed.
I wanted to hang out. You said, "Yeah, well, I will go for a beer or something," and I was like, "Okay." And then,
and I just kind of went my own way and just went to sleep.
Yeah.
And then I think you sent a message, or the next morning you're like, "Guys, I just had the best chicken shawarma that I've ever had in my life." And I was like, "Weren't you like a vegan like 2 days ago?" What was that all about?
Yeah. So, truth be told, yeah, I did have a chicken shawarma, and also. The chicken shawarma, I believe, had cheese and butter. And to top it off, it was wrapped in a styrofoam plate.
It's literally your worst nightmare in a meal, but it tasted so good, man.
Yeah, sometimes you got to let go. And,
sometimes.
That was one of those times. I wasn't going to find any vegan. So, yeah, I guess it's a bit of hypocrisy, a bit of contradictions, but
it makes you human.
Yeah, you got to do it.
Yeah.
Because I think if I was just vegan the whole time, I'd really piss people off. So you got to...
Yeah, you'd be boring as fuck.
You got to let it go. Yeah, so that was a good story. I'm glad you guys find that amusing. So we'll save Egypt maybe for later.
Too soon.
Egypt was our second trip. But yeah, so how old are you, by the way? You're
26.
26.
Yeah.
Okay. Damn. God, I wish I did what you're doing at 26, but I guess everyone goes their own way. It's so cool because you have this opportunity to do this for longer or do something else if you want. I came into this expat journey later, probably I was 32, and I was like, damn, what have I been missing? This is awesome. So tell me like a little bit about how you came to live the expat life.
Where should I start? Like, I suppose like I was born in Pakistan, and at a young age I moved to England and did my primary.
Stop! This is boring. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
I want you to tell it. Here's a good way to think about it. Because it's weird because we know each other.
Yeah.
And you're telling me stuff that I know.
Yeah.
So I know it's awkward, but
repeating myself.
Yeah. So we'll say like, this is for someone who may be sitting at home who's like, yeah, I heard about this teaching abroad thing, but I don't know. So like, I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if it's for me. So like, maybe in the vein of like talking to that person, like, hey, how did you start?
Yes. So to be honest, what it is like when you're having these questions and you're just like, I want to move abroad. I want to bring change into my life, or I want to do something different. Then you inevitably go on Google and like, first thing you search is like how to get rich really quickly, and then it's a bunch of pyramid schemes, and some people go off their own way and they live happily ever after for like 6 months and then realize that they've mortgaged their entire house and cars for a packet of peanuts. But then the more sensible people, they're like look into other avenues, things that interest them, things that they wanted to do but just didn't because this happened or that happened. And like I didn't know I wanted to become a teacher, but it just so happened fell into my lap. And so I'm looking at ways that I could teach and things that I could do and what are the possible risks in that. And when you doing your research, what normally ends up happening is that you just overthink things, and then you just like, I gotta have a plan about the move. I gotta find a place to live. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. And it scares a lot of people. I'm very comfortable in my life. I'm very comfortable with this and that. And you just never do it. But the only thing is like, people overthink these things way too much. Like, you just got to be like, fuck it, I'm going to do it,
Were you overthinking it too, or?
No, man, the complete opposite. So the first proper teaching job that I had abroad was in Taiwan. Like, that was my first proper job teaching abroad.
I don't think I knew that. That's awesome.
So I did a couple of summer internships here and there, like in Pakistan and in China, and that was my first job. And so I initially applied for a job in China, and they were like, unfortunately, that job is taken. Would you be interested in a job in Taiwan? And I thought Taiwan was another fucking island in Thailand. So I'm like, fuck, I went to Thailand? Fuck yeah, man. Like, send my resume and everything, send it off. And then they send me, like, you know, this email saying these are the questions for the pre-interview thing. These are what you should think about, da, 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 da. So I did, like, the basic research of how to teach and what to teach and, you know, like, what my teaching philosophy as such would be. But then I was like, I have no fucking idea where this place Taiwan is. Like, I've heard of Koh Phi Phi, I've heard of Krabi, I've heard of Koh Phangan, but where the fuck is Taiwan? And I swear to God, like, half an hour before my interview, I realized, like, Taiwan was a whole different fucking nation. Like, it had a different culture, different people, different food, different everything. And I literally just had the Wikipedia page open in the interview. And so then inevitably the question asked, like, what do you know about Taiwan? And I'm just like, clicking to the other screen. And I was like, yeah, you guys have a building. It's called Taipei 101. The capital is Taipei. This is
like Sabadi Cup. I love...
yeah, I was like...
What, sir? Nothing. I mean...
It's like, you guys, you know, broke away from communist China. Lots of history. Lots of history. I don't want to bore you guys. Like, come on. Do I get the job? And they're like, yeah, sure. And then I was like, cool. Fuck it, let's pack my bags up and let's go.
Wow. That's hilarious. You really thought it was Thailand?
Yeah. And then I didn't really, like, do my research, like, where am I going to live? What? It's just going to sort itself out. You know what I mean? Yeah, like, it's a highly risky approach. But if you just, like, kick back and just take it easy, things work out. Like...
Yeah, but why did you... That's a great story. I never heard that one. Why did it would have been even more funny if you didn't realize that in the interview and you were like, yeah, I think
talking about Thailand.
I think you're near Koh Phi Phi. So, but what was it then that made you say, like, it sounds to me like you were like, hey, I'm just looking for adventure. I'm looking for something different. But what was it like? You were in the UK at the time?
Yeah. It was
university?
Yeah, it was a gradual process. Like, I went to the UK to do business as my undergrad, and while it was good, like the first 2 years I really enjoyed it, and to the best of my abilities, I think I was pretty good at it. I was, like, scoring pretty good marks, but then the last year I just completely lost touch with it. Like, I'd been studying it for the previous 5 years in Pakistan in school, and then another 3 years, that's 8 years of my life just studying the same subject, and I was getting bored of it.
Which subject?
Just business studies.
Business studies?
Yeah, so it was just general business, like all the subjects, accounting, finance, this, that, marketing. And in my last year, I don't know, like between my second year and my third year, that summer holidays, I did a teaching internship in China at Tsinghua University, which was just 3 weeks of just fun, to be honest.
Really?
And I went in with that mindset that this is what teaching's going to be about. Like, teaching abroad is going to be like just going out, having fun, chilling, and then doing a bit of work when you feel like you have to. So in my third year of university, when I was falling out of love with my current subject, I was like, you know what? Let me just try a hand at teaching. So I told my parents, like, I'm not really feeling like going down that corporate road and this and that. Like, I need a kind of like a year out. That's a very short and condensed version of it. And they were like, all right, if you can get a job, then go ahead. And then I got a job in Thailand, which turned out to be Taiwan. So bada boom, bada bing, here I am.
How was Taiwan?
Cool, man. Like,
1 year you did?
This was 2014 to 2015. I spent just under a year there.
Was it a 10-month contract?
No, it was a year-long contract, but in the middle of, like, that year, the 10 months that I was there, I was like, I actually kind of like this teaching thing. I'm not the worst person at it, you know what I mean? So I was like, I enjoy it. I'm not too bad. I can live my life, you know what I mean? I can support myself. And I get to travel. Like before, I wasn't really big on traveling, like, all throughout my university years. Like, I was just more interested in just going out, partying and this and that. Like, the whole notion of going traveling or going backpacking didn't really appeal to me until Taiwan. And that opened up, like, a lot of opportunities in my eyes. And I was like, I like this lifestyle.
Nice.
So I had to cut my contract short in Taiwan, so I could move back to the UK to get my teaching certification.
Okay.
So I wanted to do, like, if I'm going to do it, like, I want to do this properly.
So you were doing ESL in Taiwan or business?
So I was teaching TEFL.
Yeah.
TEFL, and I was teaching kindergarten, which is hands down one of the best jobs in the world. Like,
you think so?
Yeah, man. Like, it was cool.
No.
The kids were proper on it. Like, it was easy as shit. Like, I can recite the alphabet forward and backwards now, so I learned something. And yeah, man. Like, show me any flashcards, I'll be able to.
It's the management of the kids, though. Like, teacher, I need to go pee. Like, you have to deal with that and stuff.
My class, I think there were like around 10 students. And there were around, the youngest was 3, which was a bit too small. Like, she was just like coming out of the clutches of her mom. Yeah. Early days. And then it was like 3 to 5. But I had a Taiwanese person who was in the classroom with me who would handle all like the nitty gritty stuff.
So you didn't have to change any diapers?
No. I was just there to teach the weather and counting and the alphabet.
They just wanted to hear English.
Yeah. And every now and like it was cool, man. Like you just start work, teach for 15 minutes, and the kids have to go to like water time, break time, the exercise time. Yeah. And next thing you know, it's nap time, which is great. They fall asleep, and then you're like, I'll go to sleep as well on my desk. I want to make that clear. And they wake up, they're all groggy as shit. You just give them a fucking coloring sheet and like, all right, kids, go color a fish in. You know what I mean? And then the day's finished. And that was Taiwan in a nutshell.
This is definitely going to be the most expletive-ridden podcast. So I'm glad.
Am I allowed to swear?
Yeah. Oh, okay, I actually put this podcast as whatever you have to put explicit or non. Yeah. So put explicit in the category. Yeah. So sometimes here in the Middle East, they can't download it. You have to just change your settings. Okay. Even if it's not an explicit episode, the whole show is. Oh, okay. So you're safe.
Good, man. Yeah. So you're like, beep, 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 beep. Kids, beep,
no.
Beep.
It's fine. That's one of the reasons I like doing this, because it's like you don't have to worry about that. That's crazy. So kindergarten, you like kindergarten, man. I could not do it.
It was fun while it lasted.
Would you go back to kindergarten teaching?
I think, but if in terms of teaching, I like kindergarten, and then I like the last 2 years of university. Like in England, we call them A levels, or year 12, 13, or year 11, 12. Yeah. So I like the extreme. The middle ones, the elementary kids, man, those kids are like little shits. You know what I mean? It's too much. Yeah. And they like start back talking to you, and it's like, shut the fuck up. You know what I mean?
I went through puberty once, kid.
Man, I hate it. I hated the cocky little fucks.
I know what it's like. Yeah, I know. You're getting hair on your balls now. I know.
It's just like, calm down. Like, you're not gonna fucking fight anyone, alright? Stop dabbing. What the fuck is? Although, to be fair, that's one thing that I've started doing as well. Like,
but dabbing's kind of faded out. No, is it still?
Yeah, I think you know, like how when the older people start doing it, it kind of just like dies. Yeah. So now I'm part of that older generation, as to put it. Every time I start to dab, the kids are like, "Teacher, no, like just
it's over." They're like, "We lost the dab." What about what's that one dance everyone was doing? The
Fortnite dance.
No, the one where you shake your hips. And
the Fortnite dance.
That's the Fortnite dance?
Yeah, the floss.
That's from Fortnite?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Fortnite's the biggest thing that's hit the Generation Z, man. That shit is fucking out there.
I know, I guess. Have you, do you watch Gary Vee at all? Any of his stuff?
Gary Vee, the business guy? Yeah. Yeah, I see like his 2-minute like clips
on Instagram.
Facebook. Not much.
Oh, on Facebook?
Yeah.
He's good. You should watch him. If you're in business, the guy's brilliant. But, he's funny because he just did this thing. I was watching this IGTV. Man, IGTV? It's like
Instagram.
Crazy right now. But he was like, here's how you become rich. He's like, spend 10 to 15 hours a day, research. And they're like, 10 to 15 hours. He's like, wait a minute. Stop watching Fortnite. Stop going on Instagram and you'll find 10 to 15 hours. And it's true. Like, that stuff sucks up their lives, no? So the floss came from Fortnite.
Yeah. I think it's like the victory dance or something in the middle.
So I don't know. Maybe that's finished too. But that lasted a while. And the funny thing about the floss, like my young niece, 10-year-old girl was doing it. Yeah. And also like the boys were doing it.
everyone's doing it.
It's crazy.
Like, and there's like so many different styles of doing it. Like you could do like the fast, erratic, like jerky one, or you could do like the slow, flowy one. And it's a dance in itself, man. Like, you know, in like 20 years time, we'll be like, there's the samba, there's the mambo, and there's the fucking floss right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's an art to it. Like, I thought I'd do it, and they, you know, dislocated my hip. And I think that was a very clear sign that I'm getting too old for this shit.
Too old for the floss? It's like, okay, so the floss is something that can go worldwide and viral, and the dab can. But why can't, like, you know, good leadership and geopolitical smart decisions go viral? It's like so amazing to me.
It's not fun, man. Like, who the fuck wants to hear about like morality and morals and ethics when you can just, like, you know,
do the floss?
Do the floss.
Oh, dude, you're hilarious. So if you need to get up, we can pause, but otherwise you're good.
Yeah, I'm gonna get another beer.
But can you reach? Yeah, go ahead. You're good. I think you're on one anyway. Hello. So go ahead. So why?
Oh, fuck.
It's okay. You're good, buddy. No, but hold on here. Okay, we're good. Hello. So why then? No, really, when you think about it, these fun little things, I mean, yeah, it's a little dance, but in like, you know, months, it's all over the internet. Like my niece in New York is doing the same dance as a kid in the Middle East in my classroom.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck's going on? But yet a good idea or a sensible thing, like, I don't know, let's not throw plastic in the ocean and kill the fish. They're like, I don't know. We have to look at science. Like, why don't those, no, this is like a bigger question, but I know you're not a scientist, but why don't good ideas spread like that?
See, I'd have to argue against that in the sense that your generation, my generation, like, I'm a millennial through and through, okay?
Right.
And Generation Z, like, the changes in the way that we think and the way that we are now is prevalent. Like, I generally have optimism for the next couple of generations because they're just so much more fucking aware. And in terms of everything and anything that there is, like, they're exposed to the internet at such a young age. Like, my nephews now are aware of like disabilities. Like, you know, SEN students in their class.
Well, now, I mean, that's another issue. But now, but
now
your point
they're
is...
a lot more aware, they're a lot more empathetic. And even with the environment, they're just a lot more switched on. Like, kids now are aware that the world that they're going to be growing up in is going to be pretty fucked. You know what I mean? It's going to be it's not the same world that I lived in, like a generation before them or a generation before me, you lived in. Climate change is real, and these kids know about it. It's no longer a question of, what are the effects? Are the effects real? Is it man-made decisions? These kids are aware of that. Like, for them, that debate won't happen. So when eventually, like, when the baby boomers fuck off, you know what I mean? And a generation fucks off, and then the millennials are somewhat in actual positions of power, you know, in institutions that can make meaningful change, then I think we'll see a pretty quick turnaround. And in terms of like trends that go viral, like the floss or dabbing or this or that, like the plastic straws thing, I think that's a trend that's gone viral. You know, like I ordered from a restaurant here, and they gave me like a cardboard like straw, paper straw, and if that's coming here, then you know that shit's going worldwide. So changes are being brought. I think it's just that they're happening so slowly on a day-to-day basis. Information is coming so fast at us. You know, life is so fast-paced, so we don't really see any meaningful change. But if you see year-on-year thing, like, there's some reason to be optimistic about future generations. And stupid stuff like Instagram and then this social media platform, I think they're also playing a big role, because you have these influencers who have thousands and thousands and thousands of followers, but like no true friends. But we'll gloss over that. They're telling their thousands of followers, like, hey, don't use a plastic straw. Some sea turtle will fucking choke on it.
Right.
So it kind of is having a trickle-down effect. Perhaps not as quickly as we perceive it to be because things are just moving so fast. So,
Yeah, I mean, I somewhat know the answer to the question, but I wanted to get your opinion. In that, I mean, when you do the floss and it goes viral, like no big business is going to lose money over like the floss.
No.
But if you're like, hey, don't use plastic, then you're like,
shit, the plastic industry, the petroleum industry.
the petroleum industry, they're like, I don't think so.
Shit, I was like, fuck it, man, introduce a new dance. Like,
dance all you want, guys. Dab away.
Should we bring back the moonwalk? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, so I mean, I understand that, but I guess it's like, it's interesting that something can move so quickly. So I hope you're right. I mean, you would know more about that than I do. Like when you were growing up though, when did you get on social media?
Social media, so around year 10, 11, so mid-teens, like 14, 15.
Was it Facebook?
Facebook.
Did you have
actually, the first one that I had was Bebo. I don't even know if that's a real thing anymore. Like, Bebo was the first one. Like, we had the dial-up connection, that you had to dial up.
I don't know.
And, yeah, that shit was slow, man. And it was my first experience of a fake account where some guy called Justin Timberlake added me and I thought it was the Justin Timberlake and I was like, fuck yeah, man, like this shit, I like the social media thing. But it turned out some fake fuck. And no, Facebook was my real big thing and it was good. Facebook was good for a while, man. Like, but then it just got a bit too Facebook-y. Then they just started taking all my data and sending it to advertisements.
It's crazy now. I listened to a lot of things recently on it because I guess the big thing with Facebook, the argument now is like, so they are officially not media.
It's an advertising
It's a platform, right. So because it's a platform, they're not liable for anything.
Data,
because it's just a platform. But that's a whole nother lot to talk about. But did you ever have like, did you ever have to deal with like Facebook shaming and stuff in high school, or like that was kind of like, you weren't at a party and you saw pictures, like that kind of stuff?
Not really.
Not really, right?
Not really, no.
I don't know how kids are going to do that now, man.
Like, yeah, man, like this online cyberbullying thing is fucking brutal. Like, back in the day, you used to get bullied during school hours. Yeah. And then you go home.
And it's done.
And obviously it's not done because you're still suffering from the effects on this. But you know what I mean? Like, what the fuck is a kid going to do? Like, post a letter to your home? Like, back in the 70s or 80s? No. But now it's like 24/7. And it's so fucked up. Like, kids because like kids are just so fucked up from the cyberbullying, like they take it on to themselves. Like they post a picture up on Instagram, they're like, oh fuck, I didn't get that many likes, I have to delete it. So like, you know what I mean? So they're like, not only they're being cyberbullied, but they're being cyberbullied to themselves and this and that. Like these kids, like, yeah, man, it's brutal out there. Like, imagine being in the playground all your entire life, just never switching off. That is how it is.
Yeah, or like you have like one bad day, but it's forever. It's like forever on there because some asshole took a fucking picture of you.
Took a picture of you with your eyes like half closed because you're half blinking, and then that shit goes viral, and then memes are being made, which are kind of funny, but like it's kind of bad for the person who's being subjected to it. But yeah,
I don't know, man. It's crazy, but I guess there's good things about that.
But then again, a lot more talk is being done on like mental health studies, and now people are being more aware of the effects of social media. So the flip side to that is kids are now being better equipped to handle such stuff. Like talks are being done in school, where it's like this is your life now. This is how things are going to be. Like social media, internet's never going to go away.
It's not going away.
We're going to give you the tools to equip yourself to dealing with such shit situations. So it's it goes both ways, But again, it is kind of brutal.
Yeah. At the same time, the people are making. You should check out Gary Vee. You like it. They're like, I don't actually need college. I can make money on Instagram and I can make my own business here. And boom, at like 15, 16, younger sometimes.
Yeah, like there are like education system that we know it. Like, this is something that I actually saw from Gary Vee. Is like, the education system now is actually failing entrepreneurs or people who want to be entrepreneurs because there's nothing, for them.
Yeah.
There's nothing for them, like, how to...
That's right.
Teach them how to think outside the box. Because school is now so regimented and whatnot. So, the education system, for sure, is failing it. But then you have these platforms where kids can take online classes and whatnot, and they can be like, okay, so I have this idea how to implement, how to execute it.
Yeah. And they get it done.
For sure.
Yeah, man. Did you study that in your business courses at all, or no?
We did an entrepreneurial module, and we had a group assignment, and I thought like our idea was pretty good. Like, we thought of doing e-receipts, and so every time you buy something, you get like an electronic receipt to your mobile phone.
Yeah.
And now that's just being implemented. So if we copyrighted that shit, I could have been a millionaire right now.
It's like, have you seen The Intern with
Anne Hathaway and De Niro?
No, that's another movie maybe with the same name. It's with the guys at Google with Owen Wilson and the tall guy.
Vince
Vaughn?
No,
I haven't seen it's hilarious because they're doing like, it's right when Instagram came out and they're trying to create like an entrepreneurial thing. He's like, guys, I got this great idea. You take a picture with your phone and you can upload it instantly. It's like an instant photo. We'll call it Insta photo. They're like, dude, they already have that. It's called Instagram. He's like, no. He's like, people can also post videos and put them right up directly in an account and they can share it with their friends. Like, dude, it exists. He's like, oh. And he like, it's like, it's a great monologue. But, man, e-receipts, missed the boat.
There.
So, this is a good conversation. Let's go to a little bit, back to your story. So Taiwan, and then, was there anything other than like, hey man, this seems like fun that made you want to go, or you just were like, hey, I'm going to do this because China was fun, so I'm going to go, right? It wasn't anything kind of like dramatic. I mean, why you left to go abroad? Like, why didn't you stay in England and work, for example? Like,
so no, like for me, once I moved to Taiwan, that traveling bug kind of just got inserted into me, and I moved back to England. I had to spend a year out there. Like, it was kind of like a necessity, in the sense I had to get my teaching certificate, because I kind of realized then that I want to continue in this lifestyle, like the old lifestyle of what I thought I would be. You know what I mean? Like, finish my business degree, go into banking or this or that or marketing. That kind of like that mirage kind of shattered.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I can see myself, like, that's always like a backup, things get really bad, but I kind of see this opportunity, so let's just grab it and see where it takes me. Taiwan was a very good experience. Of course, you had your ups and downs, day-to-day life, like language barriers, this, that, food. Like, I wasn't a particularly big experimenter with food. And so, yeah, like, it wasn't all rosy and all, things are amazing, and you'd have your ups and downs for sure.
Yeah.
But I liked it. I liked the freedom. I liked the fact, it's something different. I liked, the fact that I didn't want to... I was waking up in the morning and I was like, my first thought wasn't like, fuck, it's a new day. It's like, all right, cool, let's see what's happening. Like, let's see if we can do the letter C today. So...
You'd be a hilarious kindergarten teacher. What, is it Cantonese there or Mandarin?
Mandarin.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's good to know.
Yeah.
And then... so you like the freedom, but what were any, like, besides normal challenges, or like any big thing that was like, did you ever have a moment where like, I can't take this, I want to get out of this place?
The only thing, like, again, because I was so unprepared in my planning to go to Taiwan, I literally didn't have any warm clothes. So that was the only time I was like, fuck, man, what am I doing with my life? You know what I mean? I just had t-shirts and shorts, and it got pretty cold in the wintertime, and I refused to buy any more clothes because I was like, I know I want to spend this money on like going out and this and that. So I was like, so that was probably the lowest point. Other points were like, there was one day this earthquake hit like 4 times in one day.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck, I really do need to make, like, just in case it happens in the middle of the night, I need to have like a backpack of just emergency items. So like food, passport, money, and I didn't have any food. I did have a bottle of whiskey. So I packed that. That was the first thing I went into my emergency SOS bag. Passport was there. Money, I had some coins lying around because my wallet was somewhere at work. And the only thing that I had aside from those three things was just a speaker. So I'm like, fuck, if the building crashes down, I'm just going to play my music really loudly and hopefully, like, I'm just going to play SOS by sending out an SOS and hopefully someone come and save me. So that was like literally my thinking. Like, I didn't overthink things through.
Yeah.
And it worked out fine. But any like disastrous experiences where I was like, oh my God, what am I doing? This, that? No, not really.
Okay.
No. Like, yeah, you'd have days where things were like, you're cycling and it starts raining and you don't have an umbrella.
Yeah.
But that's life.
You were hooked. You never had like a homesick
not
kind
really.
of moment, right?
Not really.
Did you make a lot of friends out there?
Yeah. Because the organization that we were with, it was pretty big. So our training group, when we moved out there, it's like, again, like in batches.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, like this.
I had one of my best friends who lived right next door to me. So that was pretty good. Kevin, like, we used to do crazy stuff all the time together. So that was good. And then just generally, you just met more and more people through them and then going out, this, that. And people there are friendly. And I found like people, expats abroad, are just like, you know, they have that mindset of just being open, this and that. So if you're a little bit social, a bit, you know, a little bit loose, you're bound to make friends. Like, any place that I go, that's the least of my concerns, like making friends. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, that's not even a concern because you're going to meet someone or some people that just falls into place. You just got to be a bit social.
Yeah, you're pretty outgoing. Do you have any concerns when you go to a place? If it's not like making friends, what would it be?
Just the initial like hesitations, like, especially like, you know, what is work going to be like? Right. That's probably my biggest concern. Like, am I going to be able to teach? Just a general doubt that you have. Is my boss going to be cool, or is he going to be like a dickhead? Luckily, I've been blessed with great people. Right. Food, that's another concern. But most things, again, you got to take on a day-to-day basis. You can't, like, even in your normal day-to-day life, whoever's there, like 9-to-5 job, you can't plan everything in your life. It's true. You got to take problems as they come, because otherwise you're just going to be a neurotic fuck. So yeah, you can't overthink these things too. Things will happen. You just got to brace it. Good times will come. Enjoy them. Bad times will come. You learn from it. So yeah, that's my philosophy, if you want to put it.
You're a philosopher, man. It's great. So tell me, you grew up in Pakistan, right? Or no?
50-50. I moved between Pakistan and England. So primary schooling in England, secondary schooling in Pakistan, and then university back in England. So I've been back and forth.
You were born in
Pakistan,
and then primary school went to England.
Yeah.
Back to Pakistan for secondary.
Yeah.
So like high school.
Yeah.
We call it high school.
High school.
Oh, how was that transition?
Now that I look back on it, I'm kind of surprised at how I handled it, because it's just one of those things that you just put into it. Like, you don't really have a say. Your parents just come to you at dinner and just like, all right, we're moving back to Pakistan. You're like, all right, fuck it. So the culture shock.
And we have a wife for you all lined up. You're like, what?
She's a little big now, but you'll grow into her. She's not a fucking sweater, Mom. Okay. But the thing is, the culture shock wasn't that bad, because when we were living in England, like, I think I'd go back to Pakistan at least once a year. So it wasn't like a whole different country or like this, everything is new, this, that. So I kind of adjusted, and that adjusting was made a lot easier in that sense. I spent 5 years there. Yeah, man, it's interesting. Like, Pakistan gets a bad rep in the media and then this and that, for sure. And I'm not saying it's not justified, because you know, like,
I don't know. I learned everything I know about Pakistan relations from you.
Like, yeah, like, I want to say it's like, it's nothing like how the media portrays it. Like, everyone is safe, you can do this or that. No, motherfucker, it is slightly dangerous. You know what I mean? Like, this, especially on the border with Afghanistan, like, what you see in the news, that shit happens. There's a lot of unfortunately uneducated, ignorant people there, who have a very backward way of thinking. I'm not denying that. I'm not saying it's like the land of milk and honey. But at the same time, like, that's with every single place. Like, I had a very, very positive experience in Pakistan. I look back at it with fond memories, met some absolutely fantastic people. Went to school there. I had a good education, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think I'm from the Stone Ages with my thinking and all that. So yeah, it is good. It has, it's getting better. Yeah. For sure. Like, we have, I think last year, a couple of years ago, we got a brand new government, like this guy, Imran Khan. Like, he was a political outsider for many, many years. Right. He's come in, and he just broke away from the general dynasties that were there, which was the army, and then, the Sharif family, and then the Bhutto family. Like, those, between the three of them, they served, I think, most of the time in power. So this guy is like a brand new outsider. Well, not an outsider, but he's someone new. How he's doing, we're yet to see the effects of his presidency, but we have to give him a chance. Like, he's brought some changes, some positive changes. He's done some things that haven't worked out well for him. So, but it's something different. And one thing that I appreciate from my own perspective is that he's trying to change the public relations image of Pakistan. So he's trying to boost a lot of the tourism aspect and trying to, you know, like, instead of focusing on the war on terror all the time, and then Pakistan is like this rogue nation that could, you know, nuke India or this country or that country at any given time. Why? Because it's Thursday on a 4 p.m. and it wants to. Right. So he's trying to change that image. And like, I've been trying to get my friends to just like, guys, let's do a holiday there. And just recently, I think they've announced like electronic visas for Americans. For UK for sure, a couple of other nations, and I think America's either done now or in the pipeline.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so
we could go.
That should be good, man.
Oh, that's awesome.
We've got e-visas, like, we've decided to join the rest of the world and handing them out. Because before, it's actually quite a bit of a ball ache to get visas for Pakistan, because, you know, we're a bit of an exclusive country. Right. Hey. But now they made it easier, and no, man, there's so much to do. Like, I'm going to be honest, even I've only done a fraction of the things to do in Pakistan.
What can we do there? Like, what's good about it? Okay,
so like, if you're a foodie, Lahore is the place to be. Like, we have places to go in Lahore. Like, we have food street, multitudes of restaurants. Like, people in Lahore especially just love to eat. You know what I mean? Like, that's their national pastime.
Can I get vegan food there? Because I'm strictly vegan.
No, like, it's all sorts, you know what I mean? Like, Pakistani food, like, it has a lot of vegetables, a lot of fruits, stuff like that. So yeah, for your vegan diet, like, my parents are pretty much all vegetarian, you know? So they eat like dal, vegetables, this, that, or the other. So yeah, we'll sort you out.
Is that where they are in Lahore? Or
yeah, they're in Lahore right now.
Karachi is the capital, right?
No, Karachi is like the biggest city. That's like the port city down in Sindh. Islamabad's the capital.
Islamabad, right?
Islamabad's pretty cool as well. Like, it's beautiful. Like, it's just on the backdrop of I think they call the Markala Hills. But it's beautiful, very green, very spacious. It's like a brand new modern city. It gets a bad rep for being a bit boring, but if you know people, that's another thing in Pakistan. If you know people, the right people, it transforms the entire country. Right. Or your experience of it. Right. Then we got like a lot of cultural things to do. So there's like it's steeped in a lot of history. So I think the second oldest civilization, the Indus civilization, actually originated from Pakistan.
Which civilization?
Indus civilization. Okay. Then there's the Mughal architecture, this, that, a lot of mosques, a lot of things to be done there. And then if you're into your adventure holidays and whatnot, you can go up into the mountains, and like, it's just north. So Skardu, Gilgit, Hunza, like beautiful, beautiful mountain ranges, the Himalayan range. And because it's not a popular tourist destination, like, these places are pretty much untouched.
Wow.
Like, yeah.
Is that there's a region in between Afghanistan and Pakistan that's called something?
FATA. That's the federally administrated tribal areas. Yeah, that's like the Wild West.
We can't go there, right?
Yeah, that's a little bit dangerous. But north of that, just north is the more secure. And because like there's been a lot of push for tourism and all that, like the security situation, like the government has made an active effort for the security situation to get sorted, because one bad press junket about foreign tourists, this, that, and it's happened, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that completely kills off that whole tourism sector.
Good for him for pushing it.
So yeah, he's pushing it. People are coming slowly.
Is he young?
Mid-50s? I don't know, mid-50s?
He's
He's a bit of a Pakistani hero. Like, he won us our first World Cup in 92. So he's a cricketing hero. Back in the day, he was a bit of a playboy. Like, he was dating all these hot chicks. So, and then he kind of went down. He set up one of the biggest, like, cancer hospitals. So the guy, he's done a lot for Pakistan in terms of PR image, and now he's like the Prime Minister or President. So he's doing pretty good.
That sounds awesome. Is it legal to smoke the hashish there? Or no? But we can't talk about that.
By law, I think it is illegal. And if you get stopped by the police, they're just going to hassle you. But if you just got to play the game.
Right.
When you go along with the question, they're going to like just goad you a little bit, and then you kind of just pay them off, or you can just be like, listen, motherfucker, here's my lawyer's number, here's da 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 da, I know this guy in the police, what are you going to do? And they're like, alright, sorry. And then you kind of go along with your way. But yeah, man, good fucking hash. Good fucking hash. Like, it comes straight from like Afghanistan, that whole thing.
Yeah.
It's good, man. And it's like, it's just so smooth. You know what I mean? Like, it puts you in a nice dreamy state.
Well, we've heard that. We don't know. But I mean...
Allegedly. I don't know.
And yeah, but because I read it in the book that you lent me, Mr. Nice.
It's a fucking great book.
It's a great book. And one of his main drops, or his main sources, was Pakistan.
For sure.
And he was going there all the time.
Yeah, Karachi. He's landing in Karachi, but he used to get it like from that area that we just spoke about.
Yeah, the place you can't go.
Yeah.
To the area. Something just turn off? Oh, that sounded good. Yeah, cool, man. I would love to go. So what is then... All right, so I'm a scared American. I want to go to Pakistan now because of what you said. So I can go with you, and I'd be safe because you know it.
To an extent, I could sell you off and get almost $5,000.
You could what?
I'm kidding. Hey guys, I brought an American. Does he have blue eyes? No.
You could sell me. You could sell my organs.
I could tell you as a whole, man. Get the wholesale stream. What they do with you is not my problem.
Is that one of the things that's dangerous? They sell people's body parts?
No, I don't know. Maybe. Probably not. I can't just say, like, Pakistan is like this fantastic tourism country, and then, like, yeah, we saw your organs. Like,
I listen to, like, too much Alex Jones stuff.
Quick payday loan? Come to Pakistan and sell an organ.
Yeah, but what is what would I have to watch out for then? Because saying that I want to go, but if I go on my own or something,
if you have to go on your own, just be respectful of the customs and stuff like that. Like, if you're gonna be ragingly drunk in the middle of the street and just be an absolute cunt, which I don't think you are, I think you'll be fine. Nothing particular. Like, I think people generally are quite welcoming of foreigners, especially like if you come to see their country, which a lot of people don't. You know what I mean? You gotta remember, like, for them, it's like, you're a fucking American. Wow. For them, they'll be like, this guy, he's come to our country. Like, I think as a nation, generally, we are quite gracious and quite open in that aspect. And because we don't get a lot of tourism, like, we want to treat people even better. Like, we saw, I was looking at this video on Facebook, like, this guy, I think his name is Drew Binksky. He's just basically trying to get to 196 countries. And he just went to Pakistan like a month ago, and he's putting up videos. He's like, hey, he's a bit of a vlogger, so he's like, hey, I'm just taking out this much money. Let me see how quickly it takes me to spend it. And yeah, man, like people were genuinely just giving him free stuff because he is an American, a white guy. He's a fucking ranga. He's got ginger hair. You know what I mean? That's fucking crazy. So he's just going around and people are just giving him free stuff and this and that. People are pretty gracious. Like, we know it's the government of America that's a bit of a cunt, but the people aren't like that. Likewise, like the Pakistani government, generally in its operations are a bit of a cunt, but that doesn't necessarily mean the people are cunts. You know what I mean?
So when you use that word, you're not talking about the female.
No, I mean like dickheads.
So, yeah, because that's one of the things I learned over here hanging out with all the Brits.
All the P's.
You guys use the C word freely.
Interchangeably.
It can actually mean a government, for example, or another guy. So to all those women out there, we are not referring to that. Because you cannot say that word.
In America?
In the U.S.
Really?
At all.
Yeah, you guys are pretty, what do you call it? Vanilla when it... Yeah, aside from that. You guys are pretty vanilla when it comes to swearing. Like, just like...
There's only certain, like, words that are, like, hot button
I'm
words.
quite liberal with my swearing and all that.
I noticed.
I'm just like, fucking this, fucking that. And they're like, hey, man, what's your problem? And it's like, fucking hell, man. Like, calm down.
No, we are too. I mean, all my friends, we talk like this, but there's just like a few words that have been like...
Motherfucker?
No, that's fine.
That's fine?
Yeah.
I think that's one of my favorite words.
The C word, the N word, and the R word. For some reason, you just can't use these words.
Okay.
And, I mean, I don't know. People get very upset about things, but people are less upset.
15 minutes into the podcast, you're like, motherfucker, you're not allowed to say these words.
Motherfucker's fine. No, but it's crazy, man. So I'd be concerned, you know, the U.S. has done some things
I think as
Pakistan
as an American individual,
you'd be fine.
I'm very confident that even if you go solo, I mean, if you know someone in Pakistan, surely, like, unless they're a complete hermit, they will introduce you to their friends, their families, and they will open you with open arms. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, they will take you to places, do this, do that. 100% guarantee. If you go by yourself, just based on how people are, you'll have a good experience. I am fairly confident. But if you're going to be a bit of a knobhead about it and be like, hey, America is this, like, I want to come wave the white, blue, and red, then people are like, fuck off.
Yeah, right. So I see what you're saying.
No, I think you'll be fine.
Okay, that's good to know. Because I honestly would be worried, like, I'm representing I'd be sometimes like scared to show my passport. They'd be like, you motherfuckers. You did this. I didn't even know about that. We actually don't know politics.
The bribery charges has gone up by 20% now that we know you hold a blue passport.
Yeah, $10,000.
No, I try it out. We'll see. That should be season 2.
I would love to go, man.
Season 2
in Pakistan. I was thinking about the next trip, right? Being like northern India, and then I know you.
No, I'm kidding.
And your sworn enemy.
No, like I was trying to convince like the group of friends that I travel with, like we should definitely do Pakistan like in the spring break because the weather is perfect. It's just like in that nice happy medium between it's not too cold versus it's not too hot. It's a nice little, I think, 9-day break that we have, so we can do a little bit of everything. We can go down to cities, we can go to the rural areas, we can go into the mountains, we can go into Islamabad. So I think, like, especially since where we're based, it's like a 3.5-hour flight. So
spring holiday, so April?
Yeah.
So April's a good time to go?
Yeah.
Cool.
It's cool, man.
It sounds cool. I would love to go. You know, I love going to places that are a bit considered dangerous, and then you go there and you realize it's not dangerous. It's awesome. People are scared and like they're, like you said, appreciative of
people coming.
Yeah.
To like fucking US dollars.
Yeah, because it messes with their industry.
Yeah.
It's horrible. Like what happened in Sri Lanka. It's horrible because
that shit's fucked up.
It's terrible, and you know these guys are like, please come back. It's okay. Like it was a one-off thing, but you know, I mean, people are like, I don't know if I want to go there. People are canceling trips, and Sri Lanka's a wonderful.
I had a great time there, man.
It's so amazing. It's so sad, but so I can understand. Yeah, that's cool. Could you get up and turn off the fridge?
Is it going all right so far?
Yeah, it's awesome. We're still recording.
Okay.
That's how good it is. I trust you.
Turn it from the back?
Just the switch, yeah. Yeah, it was making too much background noise, so. Yeah, it's good, man. So, that's awesome to know. I would, definitely. It's because I wanted to talk about Pakistan.
Yeah.
Like your experiences, but now, like, I legitimately want to go there. So that sounds awesome. So I was thinking, like I said, northern India and then a bit of Nepal. And then, but now add Pakistan to that list.
You should go like eastward, like start off in Pakistan.
Yeah.
Like Lahore, you can literally just walk over to the border to India. Like,
you can?
Yeah. We have this, every day we have this changing of the flag ceremony.
Right.
So they put on this whole big hoo-ha show. And you can literally just walk across, if you have the visas and the right documentation. And I think from Lahore, the nearest Indian city is Amritsar, which is like the Sikhs' holiest temple, the Golden Temple. And that's like half an hour away from
That's only half an hour?
I think so. It's very, very close.
Oh, wow.
And even New Delhi from Lahore, if you fly over, it's like half an hour flight.
Oh, wow. No way.
It's pretty fucking close.
That's awesome, man. I didn't know that. Because I was looking at, that's a cheap flight from here. We're in the Middle East. We're going to Amritsar, whatever it is it's like 3 hours.
Yeah. Lahore is literally half an hour drive.
That's awesome, man. Great. So this was great. I think we're good, man. Is there anything else you want to talk about in terms of either Pakistan, your journey? I mean, I guess I could ask you, like, I already know the answer, but are you glad you've taken this path in life?
Oh, for sure, man. Absolutely. Just one of those things where, fuck it, let's do it. And what will happen. And in doing so, I've had a whole multitude of stories I could tell. I've met a whole bunch of people, some amazing, most weren't.
What? So what's the best thing about it, you think? Like this lifestyle?
I get to travel.
Because you said travel wasn't on your list, but now
so
you appreciate it.
The travel bug has got me pretty hard. I've been very fortunate, especially in the last couple of years, to travel to far-flung places, which I wouldn't normally thought I would have.
Mm-hmm.
So
how many countries you got now? 26 years old?
26. I haven't actually done a count, but I think it's in the late 20s, early 30s, somewhere-ish. But what I wanted to do is just to see all the major things, and I did a road trip across America, one of the best fucking holidays that I've ever had.
Really?
Yeah. San Francisco to New York. Then I've been South America last year. That was a pretty wild experience. Kind of just trotted along all the countries.
Yeah.
It was cool. South America just has a cool vibe to it.
It's one of my favorites, man.
Especially when you go to Colombia and Brazil. Man, it's just like, am I allowed to be here? Because everyone's just walking around just like perfect and this and that. It's like, hi guys.
Man,
but it's so
amazing.
sick. It's so sick.
It's amazing. Because South America is special, man. I love that place.
You lived out there, didn't you?
I lived in Chile for a year, yeah. I did like 3 months backpacking through South America. Sick. Then I lived later. And it's like, I want to get, one of the reasons working here is like, I just want to get there. For sure. Get a piece of land and just build my A-frame wooden hut. Nice. And just chill in those mountains.
Chile, we went, we did the Salt Flat tour, and
that's Bolivia, right?
Bolivia. Sorry. So I actually missed Chile. I missed my fucking flight to Chile, so I had to get one of those crazy Skyscanner flights, which is like 17 different countries, and then you land. And then because I was traveling with a bunch of friends, by the time I got to Chile, like I couldn't even leave the fucking airport because we had to get the next flight into Bolivia. So I traveled for like a day and a half, 2 days. And I got to the airport and I was met by my two friends and like, all right, time to fly to Bolivia. I'm like, all right, Chile was sick. Bolivia is a weird place, man. Like, it's weird, but it's unique. Like, I can't think of any other place like it.
Yeah. Did you go to the prison, San Pedro prison?
No.
Oh, man.
Like, isn't that where that book is?
Yeah, Marching Powder.
Marching Salt?
Marching Powder.
Marching Powder. And then from there, we went to Peru. Peru was the first time I could actually start to feel my fingers because it was just so cold in the other two places. And Peru, I've got some good memories about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What happened in Peru?
Peru, so we went to Cusco and
Machu Picchu.
Like, I wasn't looking, to be honest, like, all these places where you read about it and then it's just like, okay, everyone's like, oh, it's mind-changing, this, that. And you go to it and it really isn't. Like, you go to...
No, you didn't feel that way?
Till Machu Picchu, like, everyone was like, all the other reviews that I read, like, oh, you see the Eiffel Tower, it's beautiful, it's magnificent, it's that. And it really isn't. Like, to be honest, like, Petra, when we went to Jordan, aside from the main treasury building, it was cool, but it wasn't like as how people put it.
I felt the same way, yeah.
Till we went to Machu Picchu, and I was in awe. Like, I had very low expectations. I remember telling my friends who were traveling, like, I was being a bit of a dickhead to them, like, this is not going to be worth it. They're all excited. I'm bringing everyone down. But when I get there, I'm just like, move aside. Like, this is fucking amazing. Like, these motherfuckers built this up in the middle of nowhere on a, like, mountaintop.
It's perfect,
And then the guide was telling us, like, normally, again, with guides, they're very long, but this guide was on it, and I was like, I'm just, like, lapping it up.
Right.
And, no, Machu Picchu had some good, very good experiences there. Like, I even now I'm completely in awe. It's probably one of my favorite places that I've ever visited. And then...
It changed my life, man. I mean, that place had some magic there.
For sure.
It
definitely has a strong energy
center or something.
And the craziest thing, what I found most impressive, aside from everything, were those huge rocks that they had, and you couldn't, like, literally slip a piece of paper in between them, and they were, like, it's like, wow, like, amazing.
Who knows?
So I think that was a highlight of the day.
I'm super glad we're friends and that you came on the show.
For sure. Thank you for having me. Like, you're giving me a platform, a microphone, for me to talk and people listen to me. Like, my ego is feeling very stroked right now. But yeah, for all the listeners out there, like, just do it. Straight up. Like, this is not a product placement from Nike. Just go for it, man. Like, things sort themselves out. It's going to be good.
Do it. Take the jump. And, thank you so much, man. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me on it.
Cheers.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Enlightened Abroad. Have a great day wherever you are.